And from there, we headed up the coast. We stopped in San Diego for a day, and I got to go ashore there since I didn't get to go ashore in Panama. So I walked off the ship into town, walked around for a block or two, and come back aboard ship. And I stood out on the front deck watching guys coming up the gangplank, and I had a little fun. One guy had got drunk, and he had his girlfriend with him, old enough for his grandma, and he's going to take her to Hawaii with him. And him and they had a big old black guy, and he was gangplank dock, and they couldn't let that woman come aboard. And that guy was like myself. He was 18, 19 years old, and the woman was at least 50, and both of them was drunk, I don't know. And so he was going to fight that big old guard. And that guy picked him up, hung him over the side of the gangplank, and hauled him out over the water by his feet, till somebody caught the woman and got her down off of the pier. Then he brought the guy back in there and put him back on the ship. But they got rid of the woman, and then no more traffic problems of getting on the ship. But we pulled out from there the next morning and went on to San Francisco, and they unloaded us off of the ship and took us out by Alcatraz Island, and to a little knob was sticking up out of the water, and there was an army fort there, barracks on the side of that bluff. And as we unloaded off of the small ships there's a little buck sergeant sitting on the piling there. And when we left 5 days later, he's still sitting there. And we got back on the ship and went to Hawaii, and we got out at open sea, and there was one man. I never saw a man as sick in my life. I thought he was going to die. And under the weather deck, the front deck, was the latrine. They just had big long troughs with water running in it, salt water, and then they had the stool part of a commode on it that we could sit on. And right immediately in the front of us on the wall was the showers. And after about 2 days at sea, I went down to the bathroom, and that old boy sitting there on the stool naked, and the ship would go over a hump, and the bow would give it that, and he'd tumble off on the floor, lay there a few minutes, and get up, and he had the shower running all the time. And every once in a while, he'd be in the mess, and he'd crawl in the shower and sit in it in a little while. And for about 4 days and nights, he stayed in that bathroom without eating or drinking any water or anything. So I don't know what happened to him after we got to Hawaii and he got off of the ship. But as we come up down the gangplank off of the ship, they divide us. Every other man went over here in this group, and every other man the opposite direction in that group. And the group I was in went out to Fort Shafter, about 5 miles away, which was an anti-aircraft gun operation regiment. And I don't know where the other group went, probably to Schofield Barracks to the infantry.